What did we learn
Please,
yesterday? Yeah.
yesterday we learned about communication.
Okay, so what did we
We
say
learned,
communication is?
and we said communication is an information in between two parties. And the parties, it can be either human being to human being or non-human being to human being. So we said the right term to use is parties. And then we said in communication there are components of communication. That there should be a messenger, a message, a channel, a receiver, and then a feedback. Then we look at factors to consider before sending a message. And we look at the cost, proximity, culture, education, language, age as factors to consider before communicating or sending a message to someone.
Okay.
And Doc, please, that's where we stopped yesterday.
Okay. Talking about communication, if you want to use technical language, then you can just say exchange of information from a sender to a receiver. Which case, the sender could be human or non-human. Of course, the receiver can also be human or non. I think that's serve that purpose for us, and it will take us away from a lot of trouble. Now, so talk about components. And talk about factors to consider pricing and business. Then we also said that, and so we, like we said, we had age, education, social distance, culture, language, or code, and what again, and all that, and then we also talk about the receiver as being the person who only has the opportunity to give feedback to the message that he or she has received. I remember something that we talked about in the class yesterday or 2 days ago.
Doc, please, it was yesterday, and that was where we stopped before the rain started. And we called a class off, please.
Okay, now let's continue with what you call feedback. What is feedback? I will post the material to you later anyway, maybe after discussing in class. What is feedback? I want one of you to read for us, so I will discuss along. Is there somebody in the class to read for us?
Doc, I'm not a good reader, but let me try.
You say you're not what?
Please, I'm not a good reader, but let me try, please.
When you start reading every day, you become a good reader. Yes.
Okay, Doc. So, feedback or response is the behavior that a receiver displays as a result of the information received. Let us note that feedback is very important in communication process because it serves as a means of evaluating the communication process to determine its success. How does feedback serve as a means of evaluation? Through feedback, we get to know whether the information has been delivered or not, and whether the desired goal has been achieved or not. Let us note that. Doc, should I continue, please?
Okay.
Let us note that.
Now, let's talk about feedback or response is the behavior that the receiver displays as a result of the information received. Now, feedback is not only in words or spoken response. It's not only something that is spoken or something that is said. You could say that is why the writer is saying it's a behavior. The word behavior goes beyond just written words or spoken words. So let's say I give an example yesterday that you asked somebody to lend you money. You were sure the person had money, but the person didn't want to lend you the money. And the person didn't say anything about the request you made. It's a behavior. You see, the behavior, and that what it means is that his or her silence would be the response to your request. Only that in case of silence, it is ambiguous. In other words, it doesn't give you a specific answer. All the same, it's an answer. I also give an example of the case that a man tells a woman he wants to marry the woman, and for a long time the woman is not responding. Well, saying no or yes is feedback, all right, but not saying anything itself is also feedback. Now, so feedback could be positive or negative. Now, if, for example, you tell somebody, I want to marry you, and the person says no, you didn't get what you want, communication was effective. That is what you must know. Why? Because you had a feedback for your request. Even if the person says yes, the communication is still effective. Why? Because you had a feedback. So when we say communication is effective, doesn't mean because you got your desired goal. That is why you say it is effective. No. That you had a feedback, that makes it effective. Now, so the yes-ness or the no-ness of your communication, your desire, it doesn't determine the effectiveness of the communication. No. Hello?
Doc, we are with you.
Okay, so then the writer also mentioned something that when there is feedback, it gives us the idea that communication was successful. Let us note that feedback that we receive from our learners after we have given exercises or tasks to perform help us to determine whether our lessons have been understood or not. Now, we are not teachers in a way, but with you, those in the health sector, how do you receive feedback from clients? I'm asking a question. With those of you who work at a hospital or maybe health facilities and so on and so forth, or you go to the communities, how do you get feedback from your clients or the people you meet?
Okay, Doc.
Hello.
Hey, I'm listening.
Listen. For example, let's use transfusion as an example. Let's say a patient comes, the HB is 4 point something, and there is need to transfuse the child or the patient. You tell the patient what you are supposed to do, the quantity of blood you are supposed to give, and then the patient will consent. The patient will consent in the form of signing and taking like a consent form. That is like a feedback to us. But first, the patient will say, okay, yes, I agree to it, or no, I decline, before we go ahead and.
Okay, that's good. So do you have cases where clients will
feedback
say no?
or the yes? Yes, sir.
Like
A lot.
in case of blood transfusion, do you have cases where people will say, I don't like it?
We have a lot of,
So when a person says he
especially the
doesn't like,
Jehovah
so the person says he doesn't like it, what do you do? What do you do?
we involve our lawyers. The hospital has a lawyer. Let's say a whole teaching hospital like this. Looking at the patient is under 18. So we involve our lawyers. Then in first we involve our in charge. Then in charge will go to the matron. Then the matron will inform the lawyers. And then
The line is breaking. What happened?
especially the Jehovah.
The line is breaking.
Sir, please can you? Hello, please can you?
Yeah. Okay, but now if the person says he doesn't want it because of religious reasons,
Yes.
do you have to compel the person?
No, at times we look at for example, the child is 8 years and the parents are Jehovah Witness. They say no. Looking at that child, if you don't transfer that child may die. So we involve our legal team, like the in charge, the matron, then to the lawyers. But if the patient the relatives still say no, we let them be.
Okay. Okay, very now, but let's look at this. Somebody has come to the hospital and you give an injection or you give the person some prescription, the person goes away. Is there a way you can get feedback from those people? Like the person is 2 or 3 months away from the community, he goes away, he finishes the drugs and it doesn't come again. How will you know whether your treatment was effective or not?
Doc,
Yeah.
the intention of giving medication is to either cure or reduce the intensity or the grievance of a disease condition. So sometimes when you give them medication and the patient cannot verbalize whether there is a reduction or not, you yourself, you use your eyes to observe. That's if the patient is present. You observe to see whether the medicine has really had impact on the condition. But if the patient leaves the facility and doesn't come back, it means whatever you have rendered, it has worked. That's why the person hasn't come back. So even though there is no message from the patient that, oh, the medicine you have given me hasn't worked, but in most cases, as they are not able to come back, it means the thing has worked.
Okay. Yo, that's fine. That is fine. You know, the person can also die without telling you. The person can also
Yes,
die.
exactly.
You die, you know. But I agree with you. Most of the time, when we go there, and then we have medications or injections, and we go, if it works, we don't normally go back. So then when we realize our lessons, okay, silence is a form of feedback. You can give examples of silence as a form of feedback in a classroom or situation. But how will silence play out in a health facility? Silence as feedback or silence as communication. How does it work in your context?
Doc, please, in the health sector, silence is something we normally don't. It's hard to. We don't take it in the health sector because if, for instance, a patient refuses to verbalize, meaning to communicate that, oh, this is how I'm feeling this is how I'm feeling pain, so there is a reduction. you will not know. So we most at times encourage them to, verbalize, to communicate to us, especially those who can and those who cannot, right? That's why even in bed making, in cardiac bed, for instance, we provide pen and paper at the bedside of the patient so that if the patient needs something, those patients who cannot communicate, they can write. They can write to us, write on the paper, and then you come and read and know this is what the patient needs.
Hello, Sam. Hello. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear.
Please, to add to what my brother said, most of the time, as he said, we don't accept silence. So if we communicate and there's no feedback, we go and come back and come and talk again. Maybe first the person wasn't in a good, so we'll go and come back and come and talk to the person again. If the person refuses, then we involve somebody who maybe the person speaks Hausa or something, someone who speaks their language to also come and communicate. So we hear a yes or no, because silence there, we don't take it.
Okay. But silence, away from the hospital, in social life, silence is also a means by which we communicate. And it's a very important means by which we communicate. There are cases where you solve problems in society by using silence. Can you guess any kind of situation where you think that there was a need for you to talk, but you did not talk, and your not talking has helped to solve a problem? Let's say there's a story, even though it sounds like an ancestor story or just a folk tale, it's a very important story. In the story was told about the chicken, the hen, mother hen and chicken, and then the duck, mother duck, and then ducklings, and that was a time mother hawk sent her children to go pick up chicken, pick up chicks. So the hawk came. When the hawk came, he picked up a chick, and then chicken, and then he went away. When the mother asked, when you pick, no, he pick up he pick up a chicken, and then when the mother hen was asking, how did mother hen behave? He said he was all over the place, jumping, cursing, and all that, making noise. And then hen said, that is all that. No, I'm mixing up the story. So okay, so hen pick up chicks, and then so
say it's a hawk.
Hawk that pick hen, the hawk pick chickens, and then
The hen was
let me
jumping
see.
here
Let
and
me see.
there.
The story that no, when they went there, you see, no, let me realign the story. That the hawk first went and picked a duckling. You see, he picked up a duckling, and then when the hawk went, mother was asking, how did the mother duck behave? He said, no, he didn't say anything. So Hawk told the child, see, the way Mother
The
Duck
duck.
didn't respond, it could be dangerous for us. It could hold something ominous. It could
Okay.
hold something. It could be a plan by Mother Duck to do something to us, something bad to us. So you go back and then set the duckling free and pick up a chicken. And pick up a chick. So Hawk went and picked up a chick, and then when he went to the mother, was asking, how did Mother Hen behave? He said he was jumping, he was cursing, he was doing all, and said, no, that's all that he could do. That is all. I say this to reflect that there are cases where somebody is silent, somebody doesn't want to speak. And it could be that a person is dangerous or that a person has something in his mind which could mean something bad for you. Now, assuming that you were young and then you wanted to sneak out of your house. Like you were young, you still under the care of your parents, wanted to sneak out. Then your father just saw you. He didn't say anything. He saw you and then took off his eyes. What do you do? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Now, I think that under such a situation, if you knew what was good for you, the best thing to do was to go back. Because it will really mean that your school fees will not be paid. It could mean anything. And so silence is very important. You think the person must respond or react. The person doesn't want to react or respond. And it holds a kind of it cannot tell the future. It cannot tell what the person will do. That is why when you see somebody who is quiet, sometimes we fear the person because you don't know what the person will do. Now, people who are just noisy, people who are always noisy, always they see everything, it's not the best. Silence is good to some extent. You don't just meet a person today. Some people meet a person today, they tell everything about themselves to the person. I'll never do that. I'm telling you, if I meet you, it will take you a long time to know me fully. I don't know why you meet somebody that today, you let the person know everything about you. Why? They talk this, they start this. There are people also who just they get food. When they get food, you can see everything about it. You cannot see everything. I don't know. Maybe someone can say that's my problem. Okay, shall we continue? Hello.
Yes.
There are only 40 students in the classroom here. A lot of people haven't come. When you don't come, it's good. Now, so let's look at the communication process. You have a sender who sends information. The information must go through a medium and must be received. When information is received, there should be feedback.
Come now.
Elias Alawodo, I can see your sister is unmuted. Sharika, is it Sharika E? There's somebody called Sharika E. Now, so look at it. This is the communication. It goes in a cycle. Now, write these things down. Write these questions down. They will help you. Write these questions down. Are you ready?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, please.
The question is this: why do we say communication is a process? Why do we say communication is a process? Or you can just say it, why is communication a process?
It's a process because when you deliver a message, you have to deliver it through a medium. And moreover, the message that you are delivering is encoded. So the person that is at the receiving end has to decode the message to be able to understand what you are trying to put across to give you a feedback.
Okay, yeah, that's what she's saying. Why do you think communication is a process? As we are discussing this, some of these things, there are things that may come in the exam. That is how this class is. Any question that I give you is a possible question for exam. More importantly, now that you have to write, you write. You're not going to do objective test. You write. So every piece of information, every question that I give, no matter how small, it's a question, possible question for exam. Yes.
So it's a process because it involves steps, and none of these steps shouldn't be missing. In other words, it's something that goes chronologically.
Hey, your brother is giving us big word. Chronological, what does it mean?
It means in orderly manner. There is an order. First, there should be a sender, and then the last person is that's the recipient. Then the feedback again. So meaning from the sender, the last thing is the feedback. It means everything must follow systematically.
Okay, good. Now, write this in now. Write this in down. Maybe you can call it question 2 if you like. Discuss any two components of the communication process. Discuss any two components of the communication process and state their relevance. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Say still the mention two components of speech, two components of the communication process, and state their relevance. Okay. Write this question 2 down. Write this question 2. At what point is the sender also a receiver? At what point is a sender also a receiver? At what point is a sender also a receiver? Okay, let's continue. As we go along, I may drop questions. Let's read this portion. Language skills used in communication. I'm expecting you to know this, so let me test you. What are the language skills that every human being is supposed to demonstrate or to exhibit? Hello?
Doc, oculosis.
Hmm? What are you saying? What did you say?
Doc, I said oculosis.
No, that is too big a word. I was saying that skills. Every human being is supposed to demonstrate or like to exhibit. Every normal human being. What are the skills?
Sir, eye contact.
No. You guys did diploma already, and I think that you know so much. Yes.
Sir, listening skill.
Okay. Yeah. Listening is a
Listening.
skill.
Speaking skill.
You know what? I think I know what you are doing. This guy is smart. Maybe you quickly go and ask ChatGPT.
No, sir.
Oh, don't worry. Oh, don't worry. I'm not saying
I
that.
read it somewhere yesterday.
But you forgot, so that you remember
Yeah.
now. That's fine.
Mm.
Yeah. So the language skills that everybody is supposed to language skills. Because we're talking about communication. Then language skills is important because how can we communicate if you don't talk about the basic skills that one needs to acquire to be able to communicate? So we have listening skills, speaking skills.
Speaking skill, writing skill.
Which of these skills is the first that human beings acquire?
Sir, listening skill.
Okay. Which is the last to be acquired? At least, depending on our educational sector in Ghana, which is the last to be acquired? Elias Alawodo, there is noise coming from your background. Mr. Elias Alawodo, there's noise coming from your background.
Yes, I'm sorry, very sorry.
Even though you yourself may not be the one making the noise, but see, I can hear something. Okay, very good. So, language skills. Based on our educational structure, which of these skills is the last to be acquired?
Writing skill. No, yeah.
Okay.
Reading. Writing skill.
Yes, writing. Okay, writing. Because you listen, then you can speak. So before the child goes to school, maybe you can see your ABCD or may even start mentioning. But seriously, talking about speaking and writing counts first. No, reading counts first before writing. Reading counts first before writing, because if you are saying ABCD, you are reading. Most of the time, children are able to say those things first before they even start writing. And if you go to the school system, I think that writing is the last one that will develop. But those are not the only skills. You have other skills, like what you are doing here now, something like fast reading skills. Fast reading skills is something you need to acquire. Fast reading, not just reading, fast reading skill. Note-taking skill. Note-taking skill is a skill. But I think that we did all that in the. I think this PHN, no PHN level 300. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I taught you that at the Zoom meeting. If somebody didn't want to attend, that was it. We had a.
Yes, our first lecture.
Yeah, we had reading skills, developing reading skills, developing study skills. We talk about all those things. Very good. So communication. So these are the, look at it. This is very important to me. The two major ways through which we give information out are what? What are the two major ways by which we give information out? Two major ways by which we give out information. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, sir.
I can hear. Yeah.
The network.
No, I can hear.
Sir, please, I want to give it a try. Okay, I
Okay.
want to give it a try, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I think non-verbal, verbal in a form of speak or speaking, then non-verbal in a form of written.
Okay. Okay. But you know, if you talk about verbal communication, it involves speaking and writing. We haven't come to that yet. You are trying,
Okay.
but you can try. But the two ways by which you give out information is speaking and writing. You give out information. For example, if I say, "What is your name?" you can either say it or you write it. So there are two main ways. What are the two main ways by which you receive information at the university? What are the two main ways by which you receive information at the university? Or any school for that matter. If you are a student, what are the two main ways by which you receive information? Hello?
Hello, sir, we are
Hello?
here.
Oh, and
So we
you
are
know, yes.
So we are thinking of
Sir,
we are thinking of
probably through test
Now, you know, this thing doesn't
and
need
through.
any long period of thinking, because from what the answers are given right now, we should even give you, should also give you, should have something click in your mind. What are the two main ways by which we receive information? And if
The
we
true listening. Yeah, you can listen.
Sir, please through reading and listening.
yes, you read and listen. Those are the two main ways. The two main ways. But apart from reading and listening, what other method, what other way can you receive information?
Sir, through watching. Maybe sign language or other thing.
No, actually, through observation. Through observation, you observe something. Okay, so good. We talk about. So these are the things. Speaking and writing. We also refer this as the two language skills we use to give out information are referred to as productive language skills. Productive language skills. And they are what? Speaking and writing. The two language skills that we use to receive information is called receptive skills. Receptive skills. And they are what? Reading and listening. Now, if you, what to do to remind you of this is this: productive, to produce something, produce a document, produce, to productive skills. And then receptive skills, receive, that is to receive information, so receptive skills. So you receive information by listening or reading. Now, out of these skills, there are some two which are primary skills. There are two skills which are described as primary skills. These are the skills that children acquire before they even go to school. Before they go to school, they listen and they can speak. If a child cannot speak or cannot say anything, she should not be taken to school. The child cannot see anything, and it's a problem. So primary skills. Secondary skills are what? Reading and writing. So the same skills you can put them in groups, this group or that category. So that is it for now. Let's see. Let's do a summary. Communication is a process that involves the sending giving out information through a medium to a receiver, and the receiver provides feedback. We get information by listening, reading, observation, and analysis. Feedback serves as a means of evaluating the communication process. The language skills used in communication are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Language skills that can be categorized, language skills can be categorized as primary or secondary, or receptive and productive. Any questions? Hello.
Hello, sir. Yeah, yeah.
Now let's talk about forms of communication. See, we can have types, and we can have forms. Types and forms. There's a difference. What's the difference between types and forms?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello. Please,
Yes.
can I share this? I say, I'm thinking that maybe forms can be like way in which it comes, something comes, and then types can be like categories or various classes. That's what I think.
Okay. Let's see. Do you know something like, are you familiar with sewing machines?
Yes, sir.
So sewing machines, I can say there are two types.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
there's one which is driven by the hand, and the one which is driven by the foot. Or now, out of those that are driven by the hand, we have different types. Like we have different kinds. I don't want to use the word type, kinds. So let's say you can have singer, you can have butterfly, you can have a lot of them. No. So that the form of something, the form is different from the type. But let's continue. Maybe at the end you get it. We are therefore certain that the main form of communication involves the use of language. This form of communication is known as verbal communication. The other form of communication is non-verbal communication. You can say there are two main forms of communication, verbal and non-verbal communication. You can add a third form of communication, visual communication, as a form of non-verbal communication. So what I are saying here is that when you say verbal, it means oral at the same time written. Oral at the same time written. Verbal communication is the use of words into bracket language to communicate. This takes the form of oral communication and written communication. Examples of oral communication in the academic environment are letters, lectures, class captions, class presentations, academic presentations, and seminars and conferences. So verbal communication is basically oral plus written. Some examples of written communication in the academic environment are information on notice boards, notes, memos, directives, letters, and all forms of academic writings. Non-verbal communication is a form of communication that does not involve the use of words. Non-verbal communication takes place in various forms. Mention some of the forms of non-verbal communication. Let us classify non-verbal communication by identifying some non-verbal elements and how and what they communicate. Based on this classification, we can put non-verbal communication into the following categories. Okay, so non-verbal communication, non-verbal communication. It doesn't involve words. So let's look at the types of non-verbal communication. Can one of you read for us? Can somebody read for us?
Hello.
Yeah.
Kinesics.
Yeah.
This refers to how we use gestures in the movement of our body. The following gestures communicate when used during interactions.
Okay.
First one, shaking of heads.
Yes, kinesis, movement. You see, kinesis, the use of gestures and movement. So handshake, shaking the head, what does it mean?
Shaking of head to side can mean that no or don't do it. But you can do it up and down, meaning yes or no.
When a person shakes the head like from side to side, what could it mean? Like the person is shaking the head.
Could mean no.
It could mean no. What about shaking it vertically? As in nodding. Nodding, what could it mean?
Nodding. Yes, nodding may mean yes.
What about frowning?
Frowning can be the person is not happy with that particular thing you are doing or something. Frowning.
Okay. What about smiling?
Smiling, that means the person is happy or happy. All right.
If you beckon somebody, what does it mean?
Begging, say, begging someone.
Beckon, yeah. What do you want a
What do you
person
mean?
to
You're
do?
pleading?
Yeah,
It means to call.
yeah. You invite the person like you want the person to come to you. So you beckon the person. So you see all these cases we talk about now has to do with movements. Movements. Now let's talk about haptics or tactile. What is the meaning of tactile? Tactile communication.
Service is touch.
Okay. So what does handshake mean?
Well done.
What
Or
about
friendliness.
rubbing the back?
Calm down.
Rubbing the back.
Consoling someone.
Comforting someone.
Okay. A pat on the shoulder.
Encouraging.
Slapping the back.
Correction. Correction
Correction.
or warning.
Warning. Okay. To give a high five.
Well done.
Well done.
Strong agreement.
Okay. Talking about touch. Some student told me that somebody can touch you, can give you a handshake and do something in your hand to show that he wants to do something with you. Have you experienced that kind of thing before?
Yes, it's true. It's very, very true.
What does
Doc,
it
it's
mean?
true.
What does it mean?
Doc, I was taught by one of my mates when I was in GSS. She shook my hand and then she used one of the fingers to rub my palm.
So what does it mean? What is the message? Yeah. Hello. And what does it mean?
So it means the person wants chop.
Hello. Okay. Oh. Student, give me a number. Ah, let's meet it. Hello. Hello?
Hi.
So the person who was answering the question, what does it mean?
Doc, it means she wants to communicate something to me because we're in the midst of people before she shook me and used one of the fingers to wrap my palm.
Okay.
So after we close
Some of my
phones,
students, one of my students said it means the person want to enter you.
enter where, sir?
He said you want to enter your body.
Doc,
Some of us are not following, no.
I'm not following.
it means you are lost.
Are you sure we are not following? Okay, that's what I mean. The person wants to have sex with you or something. Okay, let's talk about oculexis, which is what? Eye contact. And how circumstances do you use eye contact as communication?
So
They
you
say,
said,
under how circumstances do we use eye contact as communication?
so probably you want to communicate something, but you don't want the others to know.
Okay. Can you give a specific example?
Maybe we are in class and then we are having a group discussion. Then my colleague comes and she has told herself, I will just give her eye contact and then she will get it and go out. Or maybe she wants to stand up and I've seen it. So I'll just give her eye contact and she will remain seated.
Okay. Let's say in a face-to-face communication, what are the positive sides of what are the benefits of eye contact? If like you are talking with someone, the person doesn't want to see you eye to eye, what could it mean?
Sometimes it could mean the person is lying.
Okay. Okay. And if it is going to be an interview, it is good that you maintain eye contact. Like trying to avoid eye contact with whoever is interviewing you is impolite and it can affect your chances. Can you think of any other cases where you need to use eye contact to communicate or to avoid communication?
Sir, please, you can also use eye contact to communicate, like to show the person that what the person is saying, you are really interested in it or you are really listening.
Okay. I think that some of these things are culturally, they could be, they can be interpreted in a particular culture. In other words, what I'm meaning is what is acceptable in one culture may not be acceptable in another one. So let's say in some cultures, like maybe if it comes to I think in some cultures like the southern part of Ghana, among the Ebe people here, if like let's say an elderly person is rebuking a younger person or a child, you're not supposed to look into the person's face. I don't know. Look into the person's face, for them, it means that you are disrespectful. But in some other cultures, whoever is talking to you will also want you to look into their faces to show that you are listening. But so what I mean is it could be cultural specific. What is interpreted here as acceptable may not be the same in another community. Okay, let's talk about objectives. Objectives. Objectives has to do with what you wear. What you wear. Rings of all kinds on fingers or toes. What could it mean? Rings on all kinds, on all fingers or toes. What could it mean?
It could also mean riches. For example, in the Ashanti region, when they put on a lot of rings, it means the person is very wealthy, particularly the gold ones. Mhm.
Okay.
But on the toes, attitudes.
Toes will mean what?
They also use that one as a symbol that in some jurisdictions, when you put a ring on your toes, it means it's a sign that anybody who is interested in your body, when the person sees that, say, okay, easy to communicate. Yes, please.
Well, so people place fingers on all the four fingers. The rings on place rings on all the four fingers. Could they? But sometimes it's not gold, and sometimes it could be younger people, or sometimes there are some people come on TV, and you see them dressed like that. I don't know what it means.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Of late, they perceive it or they see it as a fashion. But our old people, they have interpretations to it.
Okay.
But nowadays, they see it as fashion. Those days, you could put beads, like beads on your toes. It's normal. But now there are some particular ones when you put it on your ankles or your leg, it means you are a prostitute. That's my brother really said.
Okay. Wearing a black cloth, what could he interpret? How could he be interpreted? Wearing of black cloth.
It means you are mourning.
Okay. Adorning oneself with tattoos.
This one could also mean worship. You know, some people draw the image of whatever they worship on their body. Some too, they draw their wives or their children on their body. So it means something that you cherish, you put it on your body, meaning you are in love with that thing, and that thing, you can never separate yourself from it. Yes,
Okay.
please.
Dressing in suit, what could it mean?
Miss, executive person, doc. Executive person.
Wearing big and multiple earrings.
So this one is bologan, meaning you are
senior of all the prostitutes.
Hey, are you sure what you are saying? You will not offend somebody. What about if somebody is not a prostitute but dresses like that? Okay. Wearing slit and kaba to a function.
it's our culture, Africans, for that matter, a woman, a virtuous woman, a well-respected woman, who is from a well-trained home.
Proxemics. This word can come from proximity. Proxemics, I think they have the same root. You did morphology morphemes in the first semester, and sometimes if you get the root of a word, it gives you an idea about what it means. So proximity. This is how distance or space between two people engage in communication convey additional meaning to the interaction. Every human being has the space surrounding the person as the person's private space. As a result of this, we do not get too close to people. We always maintain some distance. When we are standing close to the people, it is an offense to violate a person's private space. When two communicators are sitting or standing too close to each other, it may communicate intimacy. On the other hand, when a younger person stands far away from an elderly person and throws words at the elderly person, that will communicate disrespect. So, closeness. It is only people who are lovers, there's intimate relationship between them that are always very, very close. Of course, you can see a child and a mother, like a nursing mother carrying a baby or something. That is okay. There's a need for the baby to be close, to be fed, to be given breast milk and all that. But let's say you see two adults, most of the time they are very close. It shows the level of intimacy they have. It communicates an idea that they are one kind of people, and they don't only get close, they can exchange a lot of things. Okay. Then okay, so distance can communicate. It's a communication. See two people who are always close together, it communicates intimacy or something. Chronemics. If you look at the root of this word, chronologics, it has to do with time. Chronemics refers to how time communicates. There is time that is appropriate to call somebody on phone, and an inappropriate time. How punctual you are to functions and meetings communicate something about you. How time communicates is referred to as chronemics. So you always go for a meeting late until the time everybody knows that you're the only person who come for a meeting late. That is a problem. You are communicating to people that you are somebody who doesn't respect time. You are going for an interview and you are late. It tells a lot about you. And then what again? What are some of the things that we can interpret as communication with respect to time? In other words, how does time come in? How is time relevant to the concept of communication? Can we add something to this?
So, let's give an example, please.
Yeah.
So, for instance, someone who is married,
Yeah.
and you unmarried person calling a partner, someone who is married, maybe midnight, 12 midnight. You are single and you are calling somebody's wife 12 midnight. It doesn't sound well. So you probably have to call during daytime. Because no matter how either good or
Okay. What about if there is an emergency that the person must get to know in a case where that person's presence is so crucial to solve a
Understand?
particular problem? Yeah.
Please, what he said is that you can call once, but
Yeah.
consistent, persistent calling of someone's wife or someone's husband in the middle of the night is an issue and must be looked at.
Okay, I agree. I agree 100%. I agree. Why calling the person? And if you want to call why in the night, it's an issue. So it can bring about a lot of problems actually. Okay.
So serious divorce.
Yes. Those things can become issues in marriage. Okay, vocalist. Vocal. The root word is called vocal, voice. Vocalist. We make certain sounds that communicate messages. For example, clearing the throat, coughing, yawning, laughing, and weeping are all sounds that we make. The use of these sounds to communicate is known as vocalics. Vocalics may be non-words but are meaning embedded. Have you ever used these words in communication? Oh, wow. So let's talk about vocalics. Let's say that one example that I remember vividly is you are doing something bad and then somebody sees you, or when you're young, your parents saw you do something bad, or your friends saw you do something bad, and then the person doesn't want to talk. The person wants to draw your attention to the fact that he or she has seen you. So maybe clear his throat, that kind of thing. Can you something to this? How do we use vocalics in communication? Hello.
Doc, we are listening to you, please.
I asked a question, but it looks like there's no response coming. Okay, no problem. Let's continue. Visual communication. I think that our time is almost up. But let's do this one, then we close. When we come to campus, we finish. We have few attempts to discuss anyway. Vocalics, then visual communication. We can consider visual communication as part of nonverbal communication. This refers to using images and picture to communicate. Drawings and cartoons are examples of visual communication. Posters and banners are partly visual communication. Okay, very good. So what have we learned today? What have we learned today? Abena Apia. What have you learned today? Hello? Hello? You don't want to mind me?
Doc, please, you said what have we learned today? Doc, we are minding you. We learned about communication process.
Yisha Idris. Is it Aisha or Yisha Idris?
Yeah, Aisha.
What about you spell it?
Yeah, that's my name. That's my nickname.
Yeah, okay. Tell me something about today's lecture.
Okay, so we started by talking about the communication process, and you asked why communication is a process.
Yeah.
Give your reasons. You want to hear that? You said okay, I answered that, and I said it's a process because when a sender sends a message, the message is encoded and he sends it through a medium to the receiver, who then decodes the message, understands it, and gives a feedback. Then it continues. It's a cycle, then it continues like that.
Okay. Ya si nukware. Is it never called like that? Ya nukware.
So,
Yeah, tell me something.
okay, so today I also learned that there are various forms of communication. So sometimes the way you dress, the things you use to dress yourself, and all those things communicate to people out there who are watching you.
Okay, very good. Is it Bella Afi? Is anybody's name like that? Bella Afi? He doesn't want to mind me. Victoria Joby or Joby. Victoria.
It's part of my...
Pardon? Hello? Sharika A. Sharika A or Sharika A, if you like. The person is not online. Setoji. Setoji Edinam. No response. Rejoice Mausime A Audi. Rejoice Mausime A Audi.
Okay.
Yes.
So we learned about you asked the question about why communication is a process.
I can't hear what they're saying. Portia, Deborah. Is it Deborah? Portia, Deborah.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, so we learned about forms of communication, and so we have verbal and non-verbal.
Okay. Mayor, is it Mayor Millicent? Okay. I think we spent a lot of time. It's not yet 4 o'clock. But I'm tired. So, okay. I think you'll be back on Monday. So God willing, next week you have classes. So with permission, I want to close this thing today. When we come, we will continue from where we left off. The issue about your continual assessment, AIE, is an issue. It's a big problem. However, what I think we need to do is just to we take the quiz again. So for the first semester, I'm almost, let me say, the marking for the script for the first semester is almost through, but the issue about the IA is still hanging, with many people talking about the fact that the scores that are posted do not reflect the scores that they submitted at the time of finishing their quiz. This being the case, the only thing to do is for them to take a paper test. To take a test by paper, whatever you score is just is easier, and it doesn't come with a lot of problems as we see in the case of the online quiz. So I wish you well, and I'll be expecting to see you, God willing, next week. If you don't have any questions, then may I bring the meeting to a close?
Okay, Doc. Thank you.
Yeah.